I sat unnoticed in the shadows while my wife enjoyed dinner with the man she'd been hiding. The restaurant's low hum faded into a hush the moment the waiter placed an envelope on their table. In that instant, every fork stilled and every gaze slid toward them. I had followed her earlier that evening, a quiet walk that led me to glass doors, and the sight of her smiling across from him, her laughter loose and easy, a sound I hadn't heard aimed at me in years. She leaned forward to touch his hand. The small motion landed like a blade I hadn't known was there. A cold knot tightened in my chest. Betrayal doesn't announce itself gently, it hits like a blow you can't brace for. At first I held onto the memory of our beginning, the nights we stayed up talking about everything. The soft weight of her hand on my chest, the whispered "I love you" when the house was still. That bond felt real. I bought the house, planned trips, let myself believe love made me blind. Maybe that was foolish. But patience can be its own weapon, and I watched the signs. A message left open on her phone too long, a strange perfume in the hall closet, a laugh that carried secrets I couldn't hear. I took note. I catalogued. Then one evening I followed her, a simple walk that ended with me watching them through the glass doors. Her lips curved around his name like it was a spell. The ice inside me cracked. I didn't explode. I didn't shout. I didn't call. Heat alone doesn't make revenge, it needs precision. So I watched, I listened, I documented every dinner, every whispered text, every stolen glance. I learned her favorite table, the wine she asked for, the rhythm of her lies. Quietly I built an arsenal, lawyers, financial records, tangible evidence, tools meant not only to break but to expose. Weeks passed while my plan matured. I arranged for a dinner that would appear ordinary to everyone but me. They booked the reservation for the anniversary of our first date, irony I noted with a cold sort of satisfaction. When the night came, the waiter, briefed and discreet, slid the envelope across the table at the exact moment she reached to touch his hand. I watched her face reflected in the wine glass, confusion followed by disbelief. Her lips parted in silence. The paper trembled in his hand. He had no idea, just as she never expected I could hold still and wait. Every eye turned as she slowly realized what she held, my signature, my intention, my final decision. Divorce. Unavoidable. Permanent. The room held its breath. Her gasp was small but carried through the hushed air. His hand recoiled. They sat frozen and exposed. I saw panic claw at her eyes, no excuses, no practiced lies, only the crushing weight of a truth she'd spent months avoiding. I didn't need to speak, my silence said what a tirade could not. She tried to speak, words stumbling like brittle glass, pleading fragments that couldn't glue what had been shattered. The restaurant vibrated with tension, whispers threaded like a current through the tables. I allowed myself a small, almost imperceptible smile. Quiet justice needs no ovation. It simply lands. I didn't tail them afterward. I didn't revel in the spectacle. I stepped outside into the chill night and breathed, alone and strangely free. The street took my footsteps like witnesses. Each step reminded me that a life measured and executed with intent can be restored. In the days that followed, legal paperwork moved with the steady, impersonal pace of engines, assets divided, lines drawn, questions answered with documents. Friends and family saw composure on the surface and assumed the story had closed. Underneath, the lesson had landed. The person she underestimated still held the reins. I think about that night often, with neither bitter glee nor hollow triumph, but with a clear, cool calm. The hurt was real, the betrayal burned. Yet pulling the threads cleanly, precisely, had its own intoxicating clarity. She had believed charm and secrecy would shield her. In one quiet moment, with witnesses hushed, her game unraveled. My response was not a shouty revenge, it was surgical. I do not pretend to be proud of wanting retribution, and I am no caricature of vindictiveness. I am meticulous and patient. When deception appears, I am prepared. That restaurant's silence was mine. Her fall, public and irrevocable, was mine to watch from a distance. The balance restored tasted clean and exact. Walking past those closed doors, leaving the ghosts of her choices behind, I held only one thought: betrayal is a fire, and I am the calm wind that feeds it until what remains is nothing but clarity. No regret, no hesitation. Only consequence delivered with precision under the eyes of witnesses who will remember the quiet longer than the scream. I won't pretend the path forward was easy, mornings were quiet and legal pages cold. But rebuilding felt honest. I learned to value clarity over chaos and dignity over performance. The world doesn't always demand theatrics, sometimes correction arrives in small, decisive measures. If this story landed with you, if the sting or the resolve resonated, please subscribe to my channel for more honest, hard stories about truth, consequence, and moving forward. Your support keeps the next story coming. Thank you for watching today.